Welcome to my channel. Do you feel confused when people speak English fast? Do you understand words but still cannot understand the full sentence? Do you want to speak English like real people, not like a book? If yes, then this video is for you. In this video, I will show you something very simple but very powerful. I will show you how people really talk in English in real life. Not long sentences, not difficult grammar, just simple, natural English that people use every day. You will learn how to understand fast English. You will learn how to speak without fear. You will learn how to continue a conversation and feel confident. Step by step, you will see a real journey. From confusion to clarity, from silence to speaking. And maybe you will see yourself in this story. Stay with me till the end, because what you learn today can change your English forever. Let us start. Chapter 1. How People Really Talk in English. My name is David. I am a student of English. I live in Spain. I want to speak English. I study grammar. I learn many rules. I read my book every day. I know how to make long sentences. I know past tense. I know future tense. I know many words. But there is one problem. When people speak English in real life, I do not understand them. One day I go to a cafe. I sit down and order a coffee. Two people are sitting next to me. They are speaking English. I feel excited. I think, today I will listen. Today I will understand. They start talking. One man says, "Hey, what's up?" The other says, "Not much, just working." I stop. I feel confused. I know the word what. I know the word up. But I do not understand the sentence. What's up? What does it mean? Why does he say, "not much"? What is happening? They continue talking. Gonna grab lunch later? Yeah, sounds good. Now I feel more confused. Gonna? I never learned this word in my book. My book says going to, but they say gonna. Why? I feel nervous. I feel like my English is not good. I go home that day. I sit in my room. I open my notebook. I look at my grammar rules. Everything is correct. Everything is clear. But real English is not like my book. Real English is fast. Real English is short. Real English is different. The next day, I go to my English class. My teacher walks in. She smiles. She says, "Good morning, everyone." I raise my hand. I say, "I study a lot. I know grammar, but I cannot understand people." Why? She smiles again. She says, "David, this is a very important question. Many students feel the same." She walks to the board. She writes 2 sentences. The first sentence is, "Do you want to eat lunch with me?" The second sentence is, "Want to grab lunch?" She turns to us and says, "Both sentences have the same meaning, but the second one is how people really talk." I look at the sentences. I feel something change in my mind. I understand now. People do not speak like books. People speak in a simple way. They make sentences shorter. They change words. They speak fast. The teacher continues. She says, "When people talk in English, they do not think about perfect grammar. They think about communication. They want to share ideas. They want to speak quickly. That is why they use short forms. She writes more examples. I am becomes I'm. Do not becomes don't. Going to becomes gonna. Want to becomes wanna. We repeat the words together. I'm. Don't. Gonna. Wanna. It feels new. It feels real. It feels different from my book. But I like it. Then the teacher says something very important. She says, if you want to understand real English, you must listen to real English. Books are good. Grammar is good. But real English lives outside the book. After class, I go outside. I walk on the street. I hear people speaking English again. This time, I listen differently. I do not try to understand every word. I listen for small parts. I hear, hey, how's it going? Before, I did not understand this. Now I know. It means, how are you? I smile. This is a small moment, but it feels big for me. I understand real English, just a little, but it is real. In the evening, I watch a video online. The man speaks English. He says, hey guys, today I'm going to show you something cool. I stop the video. I smile. I understand I'm gonna. I understand the sentence. Before, I could not understand it. Now I can. This is a big change. I feel happy. I feel excited. I feel like I'm learning real English, not just book English. The next day, I go back to the cafe. I sit again. I hear people talking. One person says, you good? The other says, yeah, I'm good. It is a very short sentence. It is not perfect grammar. But I understand it. I understand everything. This is my big moment. I feel proud. I feel strong. I say to myself, English is not difficult. It is just different. Now I understand the truth. People do not speak long sentences. People do not always follow grammar rules. People speak fast. People use short words. People use simple language. I write in my notebook, real English is simple. Real English is short. Real English is natural. From this day, I change how I learn English. I still read. I still learn words. But now I also listen to real conversations. I watch videos. I listen to people. I focus on how they speak, not just what they say. I am not afraid now. I do not feel confused like before. I understand that my book is only the beginning. Real English is outside. Real English is in the world. If you feel like me, do not worry. You are not alone. Many students know grammar but cannot understand real speech. It is normal. It is okay. You only need one thing. You need to listen to real English. You need to see how people really talk, not perfect, not long, just simple and natural. Now I know something very important. English is not about perfect sentences. English is about real communication. English is about people. And this is only the beginning. Chapter 2. How people use simple sentences. It is the next day. I wake up early. I feel excited. Yesterday, I learned something very important. People do not speak like books. People speak in a simple way. Today, I want to try this in real life. I go to my English class. I sit in my chair. I open my notebook. My teacher walks in and smiles. She says, "Good morning." We all say, "Good morning." Then she asks, "How are you today?" I want to answer. I want to speak. But in my mind, I start thinking about a long sentence. I think, I am feeling very good today because I had a productive morning and I am excited to learn English. But I stop. It is too long. It is too slow. Then I remember yesterday's lesson. People speak simply. So I say, "I'm good. I feel happy." The teacher smiles. She says, "Very good, David. This is a small moment, but it feels big." I spoke. I was simple, and I was correct. Then the teacher writes something on the board. She writes 2 sentences again. The first one is long. "I would like to drink a cup of coffee." The second one is short. "I want coffee." She turns to us and says, "Which one do people use more?" We all look at the board. The answer is clear, the short one. She says, "In real life, people use simple sentences. They do not want to think too much. They want to speak fast. They want to be clear. Simple sentences help them do that." Then she gives us an activity. She says, "I will give you a long sentence. You make it short." She smiles and says, "Let us play." She says, "I would like to ask you a question." I think for a moment. Then I say, "Can I ask you something?" She smiles again. "Good. Very natural." Another sentence. "Do you want to go to the cinema with me tonight?" Another student says, "Want to go to the cinema tonight?" We all laugh. It sounds real. It sounds like people on the street. I start to understand something very important. English is not about long, perfect sentences. English is about simple ideas. After class, I go to the cafe again. This time, I am not afraid. I want to speak. I want to try simple English. I go to the counter. I smile and say, "Hi." The man says, "Hi, what can I get you?" In the past, I would think a lot. I would try to make a perfect sentence. But today, I say, "Coffee, please." He says, "Sure. Anything else?" I say, "No, that's all." This is a full conversation. It is short. It is simple. But it works. He understands me. I understand him. I take my coffee and sit down. I feel proud. I did not use big grammar. I did not use long sentences. But I spoke like a real person. Later, a woman sits next to me. She drops her pen. I pick it up and give it to her. I say, "Here you go." She smiles and says, "Thank you." I say, "You're welcome." Again, simple words, simple sentences, real communication. In the evening, I meet my friend Alex. He's also learning English. He says, "I study many grammar rules, but I cannot speak well." I smile and tell him, "Try simple sentences. Do not think too much." We decide to practice together. I ask him, "What did you do today?" He starts speaking. "Today, I went to the supermarket in order to purchase some food items for my dinner." I stop him. I say it simple." He thinks again. Then he says, "I went to the supermarket. I bought food." I smile. Perfect. We continue. He asks me, "What are your plans for tomorrow?" I say, "I will study, I will go to class, I will watch a video." Short sentences, clear meaning, easy to understand. We both feel better. We both feel more confident. That night, I go home. I stand in front of the mirror. I practice speaking. I say, "My name is David. I live in Spain. I learn English. I like coffee. I like music. I feel happy today." These are very simple sentences, but they are powerful. They help me speak. They help me think in English. I remember something my teacher said. She said, "You do not need big words to speak good English. You only need clear words." I write this in my notebook. Simple sentences are strong. Simple sentences help me speak. The next day, something interesting happens. A tourist stops me on the street. He looks confused. He says, "Excuse me, where is the bus station?" I understand him. I do not feel nervous. I do not think about grammar. I just speak. I say, "Go straight, then turn left. It is near the bank." He says, "Thank you so much." I say, "No problem." He smiles and walks away. This is a big moment for me. I helped someone in English. I used simple sentences, and it worked perfectly. Now I know the truth. You do not need perfect grammar. You do not need long sentences. You do not need difficult words. You only need simple English. When you speak simply, people understand you. When people understand you, you feel confident. When you feel confident, you speak more. This is the key. If you want to speak English, start simple. Use short sentences. Use easy words. Do not wait to be perfect. Speak now. Speak simple. Speak real. Because simple English is powerful English. Chapter 3. How people speak fast, but think simple. It is another day. I wake up in the morning. I feel good. I learned something powerful. I can speak with simple sentences. I can understand short conversations. But there is still one big problem. When people speak fast, I still feel lost. I go to school. I sit in class. My teacher smiles and says, "Good morning." Then she plays an audio. It is a normal conversation between two people. They speak naturally. They speak fast. I listen carefully. "Hey, what are you doing later?" "Not sure, maybe hanging out with friends." "Cool, let me know." The audio stops. My teacher looks at us and asks, "Did you understand?" Some students say yes. Some students say no. I feel confused. I understand some words, but I do not understand everything. I raise my hand and say, "They speak too fast. I cannot catch every word." The teacher smiles. She says, "David, this is normal. You do not need to understand every word." This sentence surprises me. I think, what? I don't need every word? She walks to the board and writes one sentence. You don't need every word. You need meaning. Then she explains. She says, when people speak fast, they do not think about every word. They think in small groups of words. We call these groups chunks. She writes some examples. I don't know. You know. Let me see. I think so. Kind of. A little bit. She says, these are chunks. People use them again and again. When you learn these chunks, you can understand fast English. I look at the board. These phrases are simple. I know the words. But I never learned them like this. I never saw them as one piece. Then the teacher plays the audio again. She says, this time, do not listen to every word. Listen for chunks. I listen again. Hey, what are you doing later? I hear, what are you doing? I know this chunk. Not sure, maybe hanging out with friends. I hear not sure. I hear with friends. Cool, let me know. I hear, let me know. Now I understand more. Not every word, but I understand the idea. They are talking about plans. They may meet later. I feel something change inside me. I feel more relaxed. I do not try to catch every word. I only listen for important parts. The teacher smiles and says, this is how real listening works. You catch the important parts. Your brain fills the rest. After class, I walk outside. I hear two people talking. One says, I think I'm going to go home now. Before, I would stop. I would think, what is gonna? But now I hear the chunk. I think, go home. I understand the meaning. He is going home. This is a small moment, but it feels big again. In the afternoon, I go to the cafe. It is busy today. Many people are talking, many voices, many sounds. Before, this would make me nervous. But today, I try something new. I listen for chunks. A customer says, hi, can I get a coffee? I hear, can I get? I know this chunk. Another says, just a minute, please. I hear just a minute. Another says, no problem. These are all chunks. Simple, clear, easy to remember. Then something interesting happens. A man speaks fast, very fast. He says, hey, I was wondering if you have any sandwiches left? Before, I would not understand this, but now I hear small parts. I was wondering, do you have sandwiches? I understand him. I smile and say, yes, we have sandwiches. He says, great, I'll take one. I feel proud. I understood fast English, not every word, but enough. That evening, I go home and watch a video. The speaker talks fast, but I do not stop. I listen for chunks. I think this is a great idea. Let me show you something. You know what I mean? These phrases repeat again and again. I start to recognize them. I start to feel comfortable. I pause the video. I repeat the chunks. I think. Let me see. You know, I say them again and again. They become part of me. The next day, I try using them. In class, I say, I think this is easy. My teacher smiles. Very natural, David. Later, I speak to my friend Alex. He asks, do you want to study later? I say, not sure, maybe later. This is a real answer. This is how people speak. I feel different now. I feel stronger. I feel more confident. I write in my notebook, do not listen to every word. listen for chunks. Now I understand something very important. Fast English is not difficult. It only feels difficult because I try to hear everything. But real listening is different. Real listening is simple. You hear small parts. You understand the idea. You move forward. You do not stop. You do not translate. You do not panic. You relax. If you want to understand fast English, do this. Listen every day. Learn common chunks. Repeat them. Use them. Do not try to be perfect. Try to understand the message, because people speak fast, but they think simple. And now you can understand them too. Chapter 4. How People Use Emotions and Tone. It is Thursday morning. I wake up and think about English again. I feel happy because now I can understand more. I can speak simple sentences. I can hear chunks. But today, something new happens. Something different. I go to class. My teacher is already there. She looks excited. She smiles and says, "Today, we will learn something very important. Today, we will learn how people feel when they speak." I feel confused. I think, feel? What does feeling have to do with English? She writes one sentence on the board. Really? Then she looks at us and says the word in a happy voice. Really? She smiles big. Her eyes are open. She looks excited. Then she says the same word again, but this time in a different way. Really? Her face is serious. Her voice is flat, then again. Really? This time she looks surprised, then again. Really? Now she looks bored. We all laugh. It is the same word, but it feels different every time. The teacher smiles and says, "This is tone. This is emotion." When people speak English, they do not only use words, they use feelings. Now I understand. This is new for me. I always focus on words. I focus on grammar. But I never think about how people say the words. The teacher continues. She says, "If you only learn words, you understand half of the message. If you understand tone, you understand the full message." She gives us an example. She says, "Listen carefully." She says, "That's great." First, she says it with a happy voice. It sounds real. It sounds positive. Then she says, "That's great," but with a cold voice. No smile, no energy. Now it sounds different. It does not feel great anymore. We all see the difference. Then she tells us a short story. She says, "One day, a student said to me, 'I passed my exam.' I said, 'That's great.' But I said it with no emotion. The student felt sad. He thought I did not care." We feel quiet. This is important. The teacher says, "English is not just words. It is connection. If you use the wrong tone, people may misunderstand you." After class, I go to the cafe. I think about this lesson. I want to try it. A customer comes. He says, "Thank you." I look at him and say, "You're welcome." But this time, I smile. I use a warm voice. He smiles back. I feel the connection. Later, another customer says, "This coffee is really good." I say, "That's great," with energy and a smile. He laughs and says, "Yes, it is. This feels different. Before, I only spoke words. Now I speak with feeling." Then something interesting happens. A man comes and says, "Excuse me, is this seat free?" I say, "Yes," but I say it quickly without looking at him. He looks a little confused. He says, "Okay," and sits down. I stop. I think about it. My answer was correct, but my tone was not friendly. So I try again later. Another person asks, "Is this seat free?" This time I look at her. I smile. I say, "Yes, of course." She smiles and says, "Thank you." Same meaning, different feeling. Now I really understand. Tone changes everything. In the evening, I meet my friend Alex again. We sit together and talk. He says, "I got a new job." I say, "Oh, okay." He looks at me. He says, "You don't sound happy." I feel surprised. I am happy for him, but my voice did not show it. So I say again, "That's amazing. I'm happy for you." Now he smiles. "Thank you." This is a big lesson for me. It is not enough to understand words. I must feel them. I must show them. That night I go home and stand in front of the mirror again. But this time, I do something new. I say one sentence in different ways. "I'm happy." First, I say it with no emotion. Then I say it with a big smile. Then I say it with excitement. Then I say it slowly and softly. I see my face. I hear my voice. I feel the difference. I continue. "That's good." "Really?" "I don't know." Each sentence has many feelings. I write in my notebook. Words are important, but tone is powerful. The next day, I listen to people again. I do not only listen to words. I listen to their voice. I watch their face. I feel their emotion. Now I understand more, not just the meaning, but the feeling. And this makes English easier. This makes English more real. Now I know something very important. When people talk in English, they are not only speaking, they are sharing feelings. If you want to understand English, listen to the tone, listen to the emotion. If you want to speak better, use your voice, use your face, use your feeling. Do not be afraid. Smile. Show emotion. Speak like a real person. Because English is not just a language. English is feeling. Chapter 5. How people keep conversations going. It is Friday morning. I wake up and feel something new. I feel more confident. I can understand people better. I can speak simple sentences. I can hear chunks. I can feel tone. But today, I want something more. I do not want to say only one sentence. I want to talk longer. I want to have a real conversation. I go to class. My teacher smiles and says, "Today, we will learn how to keep a conversation going." I feel excited. This is what I need. She asks the class, "What happens when someone asks you a question?" One student says, "We answer." The teacher smiles and says, "Yes, but then what?" The class is quiet. She says, If you only answer, the conversation stops. Real conversations continue. Real conversations move like a ball. One person speaks, then the other person speaks, then back again. She writes 3 things on the board. Answer, react, ask. She says, this is the secret. First, answer the question, then react, then ask a question back. She gives an example. She says, do you like coffee? One student says, yes, I like coffee. The teacher says, good, but now add more. The student tries again. Yes, I like coffee. It is nice. The teacher smiles and says, better, but now ask a question. The student says, yes, I like coffee. It is nice. Do you like coffee? The teacher claps. Perfect. Now the conversation continues. I write this in my notebook. Answer, react, ask. Then the teacher gives us a game. We sit in pairs. We must talk for 5 minutes. We must not stop. We must use simple English. I sit with Alex. He asks me, do you like music? I say, yes, I like music. Then I remember. I add more. I like pop music. It makes me feel good. What about you? He smiles. I like music too. I like rock music. I say, oh, nice. Rock music is strong. He laughs. Yes, it is. Do you play any instruments? Now the conversation is moving. It feels natural. It feels easy. This is a big moment for me. Before, I only answered. Now I continue. Now I connect. After class, I go to the cafe. I want to try this in real life. A customer comes. He says, hi, how are you? Before, I would say, I'm fine, and stop. But today I say, I'm good. It's a busy day today. How are you? He says, I'm good too. Yes, it's very busy. Then I say, do you come here often? He says, yes, I come every Friday. Now we are talking. This is a real conversation. I feel happy. I feel proud. I am not just speaking, I am communicating. Later another customer comes. She says, the weather is nice today. I say, yes, it's very nice. I like sunny days. What do you like to do on sunny days? She smiles and says, I like to walk in the park. I say, that's nice. I like the park too. This is simple English, but it is real. It is alive. In the evening, I meet Alex again. We practice more. He says, I watched a movie yesterday. I say, really? What movie? He says, it was an action movie. I say, oh, nice. I like action movies. Was it good? He says, yes, it was very good. I say, that's great. Who was your favorite actor? Now I see something important. Conversations are like small steps. One question leads to another. One idea leads to another. You do not need big grammar. You do not need big words. You only need small tools. Words like, really? That's nice. Wow. Okay. What about you? Why? These words are simple, but they are powerful. They keep the conversation alive. That night, I go home and stand in front of the mirror again. I practice. I say, I like coffee. It is good. What about you? I say, I watched a movie. It was interesting. Do you like movies? I repeat again and again. I want this to become natural. The next day, something big happens. I meet a new student in class. He's quiet. He looks nervous. I remember myself. I remember how I felt before. I go to him and say, "Hi, my name is David. What is your name?" He says, "My name is Ken." I say, "Nice to meet you, Ken. Where are you from?" He says, "I am from Japan." I say, "Oh, nice. I like Japan. Do you like this city?" He says, "Yes, it is good." I say, "That's great. What do you like here?" He starts speaking more. He smiles. He feels comfortable. I feel proud. I helped him. I started a conversation. I kept it going. This is a very strong moment for me. Now I understand something very important. Conversation is not about perfect English. Conversation is about connection. When you show interest, people talk more. When you ask questions, people feel good. When you react, people feel heard. I write in my notebook, "Keep the conversation moving." Now I do this every day. At the cafe, on the street, in class, with friends. I answer, I react, I ask, and my English grows. If you want to speak English, do not stop after one sentence. Say more, ask more, connect more. Because when you keep the conversation going, you become a real English speaker. Chapter 6. How you can start talking like real people. It is Monday morning. I wake up and look at the mirror. I smile. I feel different now. I remember my first day. I remember how I was afraid. I remember how I could not understand people. I remember how I wanted to speak, but I stopped. But today, I feel stronger. Today, I feel ready. I go to school. I walk slowly. I think in English. I say in my mind, "Today is a good day. I will speak. I will not be afraid." These are simple words, but they give me power. In class, my teacher smiles and says, "This is your last lesson with me." I feel a little sad, but she continues. She says, "Today you will not learn something new. Today you will use everything you know." She writes 4 things on the board: simple sentences, chunks, tone, conversation. She says, "This is real English. If you use these 4 things, you can talk like real people." Then she gives us one task. She says, "Talk to your partner for 10 minutes. No stopping, no fear. Just speak." I sit with Alex again. We look at each other and smile. He says, "So, what did you do yesterday?" I say, "I worked at the cafe. It was busy, but it was good. I talked to many people. What about you?" He says, "I stayed home. I watched a movie." I say, "Oh, nice. What movie?" He says, "It was a comedy." I laugh and say, "I like comedy. It makes me laugh." We continue talking. We do not stop. We do not think too much. We use simple words. We use chunks. We use tone. We ask questions. We react. 10 minutes pass. It feels like 2 minutes. This is a big moment. I am speaking English. Not one sentence, not 2 sentences. A full conversation. After class, my teacher says, "You see, you can do it. You are not beginners now. You are speakers." These words stay in my heart. I leave the school. I walk outside. The world feels different. I hear English around me. But now I understand it. I feel part of it. I go to the cafe. It is busy again. Many customers, many voices. A man comes and says, "Hi, how are you today?" I smile and say, "I'm good, it's a busy day. How are you?" He says, "I'm good too." I say, "What can I get you?" He says, "Just a coffee, please." I say, "Sure, anything else?" He says, "No, that's all." I give him the coffee and say, "Here you go. Have a nice day." This is smooth. This is natural. This is real English. Later, something special happens. A tourist comes. He looks lost. He says, "Excuse me, can you help me?" Before, I would feel nervous, but today, I feel calm. I say, "Yes, of course. What do you need?" He says, "I'm looking for the train station." I say, "Go straight, then turn right. It is near the big building." He says, "Thank you so much." I say, "No problem." He smiles and leaves. I stand there and feel something strong. I helped someone. I used English in real life. I did not think about grammar. I did not feel afraid. I just spoke. That evening, I meet Alex again. We sit and talk. He says, "Your English is better now." I smile and say, "Yes, I practice every day." He says, "What is your secret?" I think for a moment. Then I say, "I speak simple. I listen more. I do not wait to be perfect." He nods and says, "That is true." That night, I go home. I stand in front of the mirror one more time. I say, "My name is David. I speak English. I am not afraid. I talk to people. I understand them. I feel good." I look at myself and smile. I remember everything. Simple sentences, chunks, tone, conversation. These are not just lessons. These are tools. These are my keys. I take my notebook and write, "Speak simple, listen daily, use chunks, feel the tone, ask questions, keep going." Now I know something very important. You do not need perfect English. You do not need big words. You do not need long sentences. You only need courage. You only need practice. You only need to start. If you're watching this now, listen to me. You can do this. Start today. Speak one sentence, then another. Listen to real English. Repeat what you hear. Talk to people. Talk to yourself. Do not wait. Because the more you speak, the better you become. The more you listen, the more you understand. One day you will feel like me. You will speak without fear. You will understand real people. You will enjoy English. And you will say, "English is not difficult. English is part of my life." This is your journey. This is your moment. Start now.